The article I chose to examine was Learning to See Students' Mathematical Strengths. One thing to consider when talking about how students view themselves in math is student confidence. Many students do not have a sense of their own mathematical strength and usually get their self-perception from teachers and peers, so it is so important that we instill mathematical confidence in our students. Children who are not confident in math are usually unlikely to share their ideas, persevere through challenges, and take risks that lead to new insights. One quote that I liked from this article was, "I saw ways that privilege had been playing out in our everyday interactions, making certain strengths obvious and others invisible." Now I'm going to walk you through 5 strategies that this article touched on for giving our students a chance to show their mathematical intelligence. First off, that is enriching tasks. This is providing them with tasks that are rich enough to invite diverse ways of exercising creativity and strategy. Second, effective grouping. Grouping students in ways that do not carry assumptions about what students will be good at or what they will need. So this is going to be like your random grouping, completely random. Third is conversations. This is having explicit, inclusive conversations with colleagues, parents, and students themselves that expand what it means to be smart in math. Fourth off, we have societal views. Use the concepts power and privilege to disrupt societal views of what it looks like to be good at math. And last, we have networking. Networking is seeking out critical friends, necessary to expand our own limited perspectives and to keep our learning going. Networking with others can help to remind, motivate, and inspire us to push ourselves in our process of learning to see every single one of our students as smart. Over the years, we have seen a shifted view of what it means to be supposedly smart in math. Years ago, you might think you were smart at math, depending on the way that you answered these questions. Do I know all of the mathematical formulas? Am I the first one to raise my hand with the right answer? Can I work quietly and independently with no help? Back then, if you were to answer all these questions yes, you would consider yourself to be smart in math. However, now we have these new questions we want students to focus on to believe that they are smart in math. These might include, can I explain how I am thinking? Can I listen to new ideas? Can I visualize in many ways? Can I make connections and try my new ideas? These questions encourage students to change their way of thinking, that you don't have to be always right. You don't have to be the fastest person to get the answer in order to be smart in math. In the section of privileged or not in the article, I picked out the quote, "Yet her students and her own racial, gender, and class backgrounds affected their interactions and how she understood them." So if we ignore these differences amongst our students, it will only lead to us missing the effects of these differences, centering some students, pushing others to the margins, and denying some students chances to shine. When thinking about changing our ways of thinking, it can be potentially uncomfortable. Learning to change our ways can be uncomfortable. It might be rocky at first, and that's okay. The goal is to support all of our students to experience mathematics as a humanizing and empowering activity in which their brilliance is celebrated. So this might look different for everyone, each teacher, each student. It could mean giving our students a chance to struggle, revealing our own flaws to potential critical friends in order to improve ourselves in the future, and acknowledging our own embeddedness in systems that privilege some students. Thank you.